Let me know when this is hot.
Jim Ivey.
When is this hot, by the way? Are we hot now?
Yeah, right now. I just turned you on. I'll mute you.
Everybody was wondering if I was hot. Knows that it was indeed a hot mic.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I didn't say anything untoward about anybody.
Dean. I introduce things.
You introduct?
Before you talk.
Oh, good. Okay, yeah, you're in charge. I'm sorry, Chris.
So let's start
I
this
tend to be
again.
a little domineering, so I might just come in here and hot and try to take over. But no,
right.
let me let you
Welcome
handle
everybody to the St. Paul Curling Club. We're at the St. Paul Cash Spiel. Draw 3, Todd Birr versus Sobering.
Daryl Sobering.
Daryl Sobering, yeah. I'm here with Dean Gemmel, who's not sobering.
I'm very sober.
He's got a Bloody Mary right in front of him.
I do have a Bloody Mary because I'm a veteran semi-retired curler now, Chris. So
being this is the third draw, I learned to go down and talk to the teams and figure out the actual order because curling zone is not right.
No, they
but
usually are.
I only did one. So Team Birr has Jim Ivey playing lead. He's kind of subbing in.
Yeah, Hunter Clausen, I believe, is at the World Mixed.
Yeah, you're right, 100%.
Yes, playing third.
Tom Connor is playing second. Stompin' Tom O'Connor.
Stompin' Tom O'Connor.
I'm trying to get that to stick. Third, John Benton is slid in there, and Skip is Todd Birr.
Right.
And
so the Birr team has been added to the 2017 USA Curling Olympic Trials just a couple weeks ago, or last week.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting.
After a process. Yes. I mean, there's a process in place, and they used it. And
Dean.
Yes.
I know you got a lot to say.
No, sorry.
But now I have to go through the other team's
Oh,
lineup.
yes. Okay, sorry. Yeah, yes. I'm so sorry, Chris. I got ahead of myself. I'm just going to.
You know the other team?
I'm going to take the headphones off for just a bit here. I'm going to have a little more of the Bloody Mary, and you just wave to me when you're ready to.
No.
Okay. All right. The other team. Let's talk about them because I know Daryl, but I'm not familiar with the rest of the players.
Lead is Josh Shetweird. Second, Evan Jaffe. Third is Aaron Johnston. Fourth is Daryl. And now you are free to talk about whatever you want.
No, I think it's Chetwin. I want you to carry this, Chris. I just wanted to. I was here to. I
know you're pretty excited to be.
I am excited. I love curling, and I love to watch curling usually, even after I've played a game. And I enjoy your company, Chris. You're a hell of a guy, and gotten to know you and enjoy your company.
Present conversation excluded.
Yeah, I mean, I like because you let me just bully through a conversation like this. Just take it over. But the sobering rink, I think with this lineup, actually qualified for the U.S. Nationals last year, their men's nationals. It might have been the first time in a while we've had a Colorado team at men's nationals. They have that dedicated ice facility in Denver, which is doing well.
Beautiful. Their web streaming or what they have there is really good.
Yeah, no, it's the club is doing really well. I talked to Scott Stevenson, who's active in the club. His sons are active, and he's a USA Curling board member. He says they're doing well, and of course the population is growing out there, so that's a nice thing to have. I believe curling clubs in growing urban areas is a good thing. Oh, there's a game going on, isn't there, Chris?
Is that is that a new club though? There's that one club that I've seen that has like glass, like a clear glass, like on the back side of the house.
Oh no,
that might have been a concept thing.
Yes, I think it was. I think you were, or you were out in Colorado at a dispensary and you thought there was glass behind there.
I did sign up for the Bong Spiel.
The Bong Spiel, they have that. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, good for them. Yeah, it's a relatively new club. I think their first year was 2015. I may be a little off on that, but that seems right to me. Anybody who's out there and wants to correct that, feel free to. But yeah, exciting that they built it, and seems to be going well.
What do you think?
Oh, there's Todd. We're gonna let Todd. Yeah, we could play that.
One of the skips have their muted. I don't know if that's on purpose, but I didn't know Todd spoke, so that's.
Yeah, Todd is not. Todd's a great guy, if not the most chatty individual, but definitely a great guy. And I think certainly Team Birr will be favored in this game, even without Hunter in the lineup and playing with Bears.
They won it 2 years ago.
John Benton with a nice rock there, making the double peel, and I think he's going to manage to leave that one on. Oh, very close. Almost. almost a flob.
This is a little different than any other house that we've started where they have the rocks way in the back.
They are indeed in the back so far.
In the back of the house.
That's our insightful commentary for people watching this web stream. Right now the rocks are in the back of the house.
You probably have not listened to a lot of web streaming because they're playing, but I tend to rely on my partner
to carry you through the game.
To know what's going on in the game.
That's a good call. Well, I mean, right now Todd Birr has hammer, I believe, so he's not uncomfortable with those rocks in the back of the rings. And after John made that double peel and almost left another one around, that would have been a big leave. Todd's sort of debating whether he peels again. I like going in here. I don't know if I was Daryl Sobering, I might not have thrown that guard because I think a lot of players are going to use it here. First end.
Just ripping it.
No, Todd's going to rip it. Todd.
So what would you have done instead? Would you have drawn back?
Yeah, I think I would have drawn somehow to lie two, early in the game.
So like maybe on the side?
Yeah, side or, somewhere where you don't set up an easy double. And still have a chance to get out of here with a force. But Todd is actually one of the more conservative strategists out on tour. So he likes to – he's very good at winning a lot of games by a point or two. Really keeps control of the game. And often when you play against him, it can be you're just always in the game. This looks like John might be Brooklyn siding this or nosing it. No, you got it.
Brooklyn siding that.
Yeah, that's if you throw the peel and you're supposed to hit it on the high side and you throw it so badly you cross it, hit it on the low side. We call that the Brooklyn side. It really doesn't make sense anymore because Brooklyn is the hot borough in New York City. So,
yeah, well, and they certainly don't know anything about curling in Brooklyn.
No, they do. We have curlers in Brooklyn, of course, Chris. Curl NYC has curling in Brooklyn, not on rustic ice. We should probably call it the Staten Island side. I think that would be more appropriate now. As a New York area resident.
I have a friend of mine who is a very prominent jazz musician.
Yes.
And he is a big fan of Brooklyn.
Brooklyn is, it's a great place.
He moved. He lived in Barcelona for a while.
Yeah.
And then moved back to Brooklyn. And I guess there's more jazz in New York than there.
Than is Barcelona?
Yeah, but.
By the way, did you know that the Catalans just voted in a referendum to secede from Spain?
Really?
Yeah, it's not binding, but 90% in favor, I think. So, yeah, they've never liked being part of Spain. So Daryl Sobering is going to try to bring that one in. I don't know if he reached the rings there or not. A little dangerous. He wanted to lie two, and he's a little short. And now Todd has a chance to lie two. Lie two and force Daryl to make a nervy little shot in the first end that you don't really want to make. Daryl's going to face a shot he should make, probably going to face a freeze. Something in the back, but it's not really one you love to make in the first end. As a skip, you like to have things be a little more straightforward.
I'm still speechless about the Catalan Islands.
Oh, no, it's not the islands. It's Barcelona, that whole area called Catalonia. They never liked being part of Spain. They always thought they should be their own country. Barcelona.
Hopefully no hurricanes hit them.
No.
Have you heard that about all the hurricane? Like people, like now the Texas wants to get funding to help. There are people like they always want to leave.
Yes, exactly.
You can't have an opinion that there's like a counter opinion.
No, my wife is from Texas. So I have to be careful, but she's whatever.
You think she's listening to the stream?
Oh, she listens all the time to curling streams. So Todd's gonna wreck here, though. It looks like.
Yep.
Yeah. I think now Daryl would be wise to make sure he gets a force here. Force is definitely. Draw somewhere where you're not going to leave a double. I don't know if I'd put it right there.
Redo the play that you wanted him to do a while ago.
Yeah, I don't know if I might hesitate to put it right there. Well, if he puts it right there, the only thing is Todd might have a straight back double for two. May not play it. It's not a real good place to put this rug. There's going to be a double if Todd wants it somewhere, but you could draw to the right side of the rings and probably not leave him a double. You might have a straight back double here. With the risk of only giving up one in the first end, I wouldn't be surprised if he throws at it if he thinks he's got a shot at it. I think if Daryl drew open on the right side of the rings, Todd would definitely not have a double for two.
afford the nose.
It's too bad that
Maybe get the double.
you have his mic off. He might have just turned it off because he couldn't figure out how to turn it on.
He's tighter.
Or he might just have it
So
off.
Todd has his on. I keep talking over him, but he just said he's a little tighter. I think Daryl Sobering's mic is off. But
Yep.
So you certainly don't want to bring this one too deep, but you do have to be second shot. A little bit of panic there, and I think this is going to be too deep and definitely leave Todd a chance for a double. See, if that one's over on the other side, Todd doesn't have the double.
Yeah.
I think let's listen. I'll bet he takes a run at it.
We haven't thrown much with the intern.
Nope.
Right. Just knows. I'll be steady too.
I mean, Todd
Steady
is
two.
steady too. I think they use the Pete Fenson weight delineations, which is 2 up, 1 up, 3
Just
up.
steady two here.
Never understood it when all the years I played against Pete.
Just really haven't thrown this turn.
It works for them. Works well
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah,
This
he
is actually
knows-
right in
knows
Todd's
it's
wheelhouse. He won't throw this. He won't overthrow this. He doesn't throw these really hard, but he makes a lot of them.
Just a little push there at the end.
Todd's a little bit, yeah, he's,
Hard.
looks like it's moving a bit. He's close, but I think it's gonna curl too much here. But not much risk because he's gonna get 1. It's one of those ones you don't mind throwing in the first end. You never have to really worry about giving up a number. You're gonna probably get 1.
Yeah, our first this morning, our first draw, it didn't score till like the 4th end, and it was just clean, clean, clean. It was like,
Which game was that?
I don't remember.
Yeah, just did that.
Rittenauer and Fenson.
Oh, right.
Throw it real good.
Boy, I wish we could have had that. We could have just been gabbing away about Catalonia.
I know, I have got so much stuff to talk
Well,
about, too.
let's get into it. Enough with this game. It's 1-0.
All right, 1-0. Yeah.
1-0.
You can pay attention. See, I can't pay attention to both the game and
What
I don't really have that much to say to you.
if
actually. After
if-
what you said to my wife, I'm sorry.
I did nothing to your wife. Jerry Gertz is here. He'd probably tell you the stat. If you do score first, you win an awful lot. Even if you just score a single with hammer, you win an awful lot of games.
Is that true?
Yes, that stat is whoever scores first wins a lot. Even a single with hammer, you win a lot by the numbers. Sometimes I never mind giving up a steal of 1 in the first end because I figure it's not much different than if we didn't have the hammer and we forced them to 1. We'd feel pretty good about it. So
I always
mine's
feel pretty
good.
bad when I give up 1.
yeah, but then I come back. You have hammer in the even
Yeah,
ends
finish.
and 2, and
Finish.
I'm never too upset about giving up a steal of 1 in the first end, but it's more of a
Yeah,
momentum
jump.
thing, I
I'll
think.
play.
Nice rock just in the top 4. Again, Todd will play pretty conservative. He's not going to force play too much. He's going to let it come to him, and he'll make a lot of shots. And
Team Birr has those kind of look like they're down vests.
yeah, I saw that.
I don't think that I would
know.
like that.
No, I know I wouldn't. It looks sort of like the, all due respect to Team Birr, it looks like the vest my mom's senior women's team used to play in.
Well,
and,
I mean, I haven't seen a picture of your mom's senior women team, so I don't know if that's good or bad.
and that was back when the rinks were cold. It's pretty comfortable out there. I was out there in a T-shirt, so
I know that you can say salacious things about Minnesota curlers and leave, but
Yes.
I can't because I see these guys.
Oh,
But
well.
I'm not saying they don't look good. I just think I'd get hot.
yeah, I'm a heavy sweater, Chris. I mean,
I know that.
I sweat profusely.
Heavy sweater, no pun intended.
Yes, I can't wear heavy sweaters because I am such a heavy sweater.
Yeah.
And so here's Todd's going to play this straightforward hit here and lie 2. Already sort of looking towards a force. Actually, I have a good game next to this one on sheet 6, Pete Fenson against the guys from Thunder Bay. That should be a
Tom.
good game next to this one. A couple good games. Andrew Stopera's out there.
Yep.
Yeah, I wrote down the.
You have it all. You
But
prepared.
I don't know all these people. You know them all.
Good.
I kind of
Oh.
know them. I'm just not good with names.
I don't know all of them, but that's a bit of a mistake there. You want to lie 2 with that.
Yeah.
But looked like he might have thrown it a hair full. Daryl's going to press the issue here with a corner guard. It'll be interesting to see if Todd elects to peel the corner or try to force something early. Sound like Todd's side.
Yeah. Either that or past gas.
Well, I didn't see what Todd ate before, but if he had some sausage and peppers at lunch, he might be right. I'm not sure. There's the corner guard in the right spot. So we'll see what Todd does here. A lot of guys would peel this. More aggressive play would be the guard. Yeah, there goes Todd with the guard. I like that call
You
here.
know what's funny? I think that's hilarious with curlers. You know, like you obviously know what you're talking about. But talking about things that are aggressive plays, they always seem like in curling that they're not aggressive. You know, like putting up a guard.
Right. That's very aggressive.
You could just see the testosterone bursting through the vest.
That is a fiery testosterone-laden call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got room.
Oh, God, look at that. The way that they're holding off the brushing.
Yeah.
This weight looks sort of gigantic. They're going to try to go. They're going to try to chisel off this or go right around it. Yeah, this is close to through.
Okay, Dom, that's fine.
You know, I noticed that
I doubt Tom thinks that's fine, but
they're using those hardline brooms. I think I really like the look of those heads, but they're nothing like those light speed brooms. Have you ever used one of those light speed brooms?
Is that you're for listeners at home? Chris played with me in my men's Spiel at my club a couple years ago, and I let him use one of my light speed brooms, and we kept talking about it. It became a running joke throughout the event, where we played with the late Marco Ferraro. Unfortunately, my good friend Marco has played with us in that. One of the last Spiels he was in.
Yeah, he actually had told me earlier in the year, he messaged me, he said, are we going to go back and try to win that thing?
Yes, he was all keen to come back until the nasty brain cancer set in, and yeah, that was certainly not something was pretty awful actually for me, a good friend of mine, and he didn't have a good run of it with cancer, and we lost him in August or September, I guess, but anyways, anyone at home knows that if you see the hack you step in has Marco on the back, and that's Marco Ferraro.
Okay, Tom.
So he was a good friend of mine, so give the hack a little tap this year on his behalf.
Do you know, so I know that I actually did a Google before I curled with him, and he was in some old book about how he designed this hack.
Yes.
And I read the article. I was like, oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
So did he have a company that made the hack, or did he design it and sell it to somebody?
Well, he designed it. I was actually playing with him. That was like in the late 80s I played with Marco. We actually played in the 88 Briar for Quebec, but he was...
Is that a big bond spiel?
It's a pretty good spiel, yeah, and it was to get into it. Back in the day, that was about the only thing worth getting into. There's a lot more on the out there these days. But yeah, Marco was he was a constant tweaker of the game, and he had a big, curious mind. And he was fortunate enough at the time. Actually, he was actually a sales rep for a rubber company, so they would make him the molds for next to nothing. So he would always bring out different molds when we were playing together, and we'd try them, and he'd have other players try them. He took them to major events and had guys at the time like Pat Ryan and Glenn Howard try them. So he did a lot of research. He got a mathematician to figure out the angles on the hack and how it should be.
Yeah, that I found that fascinating because I read it. You know, I'm kind of a smart ass.
Yeah.
People don't know that about me, but
right.
I read this article, and he talked about, he was quoted about having to hire mathematicians.
Yeah.
I said, it's a hack. It's a piece of rubber. I'm like, serious. So when I met him, I asked him, I was like, okay, tell me what the deal is. And he said, well, and it actually changed the way that I deliver a little bit. Because he said, if you look at the hack, which I never really did before, it's not just straight. It's curved.
Yep.
And if you're shooting to, to the left side, you move over a little bit, and you're lined up a little different.
And we're talking a lot about Marco Ferraro here as Daryl Sobering tries to hook one around this corner guard. Last time he left it open, and then John floated it out a little bit and hit and rolled out. But yeah, Marco was a curious guy, and if you were old enough to play with the old hacks, you know that they were quite an improvement. Certainly, you could make shots with the old hacks, but the new hacks, his hack was definitely an improvement. So John floated this last one, and now it's a little more fully buried. Todd wants to have a go at it with hack.
I love this call, actually. I mean, personally, I just like coming around the top guard like that.
I don't think there's not a whole lot of other. Well, I mean, you could play a draw here, but you start to play a draw and you're bringing two into play.
I didn't mean like I think it's a great call for the shot.
Oh, right. You just enjoy throwing
really
this one.
Enjoy throwing or calling.
Yeah.
Where you try to take out the one behind. I think
they're on it early because he's a little tight. He floated the last one, and sometimes when you do that, you tend to favor that. It's a little tighter. He's close though. Sort of backs up. I think he's got it. Pretty nice throw. That's a real good throw. A real good shot by John Benton there.
Oh, he took off the vest. You know, if you notice that team, they coordinate when they change their costumes.
There's costumes. I did not know.
Well, they all took their vests off.
Yes.
Oh no, it's for Todd. He's the rebel.
Todd. Well, Todd's the skip. He's probably chilled.
Yeah.
He has a chill on. But yeah, I did not. The curling costumes.
Back to Marco. One last thing.
All right.
Well, two things really. One is I read his obituary.
Yes.
And
I actually wrote it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So don't criticize.
There was some type. I got to change what I was going to say.
This rock is curling hard here. This might be a miss.
This
is going to be a miss. I think he underthrew it and got it started a little bit.
Well, then they should be stopped. They should stop sweeping.
Well, I missed it this much. You really underthrew that. I think that was supposed to be normal, and it was barely hack. Normal or control. So you read his obituary, and as Todd settles, let's hear what Todd calls first.
I like playing this way. We haven't played much with that outcome. That's what we were playing for center day. So somewhere in there.
Todd is one of the smartest curlers out here. I mean, could play that guard with an out turn, but he's going to choose the turn he knows better at this point in the game. Something for junior curlers to think about.
We want to be top ring here, right?
Todd's amazingly gracious he's just so well mannered. I practice up in Blaine usually the month before this club opens, and he's always up there. And
well, he's the ice maker in Blaine.
Always very nice. Says hello to me.
What am I throwing here?
Have a deep conversation about something inconsequential, which is great when I'm curling at a stressful day and getting out of work.
Todd is one of the nicest guys in curling. So,
who are the other nicest guys?
Probably me. I'm right up there.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm more polarizing, Chris. I'm polarizing. So Todd wants to bring this. He wants to bring this into the top ring. He doesn't want to leave it too high.
Heavy to me.
Looks very heavy. He didn't want to leave it too high and leave Daryl Sobering a chance to come around it and freeze on on Todd's shot rock.
Well,
it's digging in. I found in the game we were on, he wants to sort of bite the front ring and just be tight. He's just going to be tight. That's a pretty good shot.
So the thing about Marco's obituary that I liked is it said that he was an ideas guy.
Oh, he was, yeah.
And there's a lot of the friends that I have that we put this together. I met this Adam Height.
I mean, it was just going sideways.
He's not here, but he's working right now.
It was just going sideways.
But he's the guy that kind of brought all this together.
Right.
And he, when I first met him, when I first started curling, I told him about some of my ideas, and now he calls me ideas guy. There's a lot of passwords around here that are different iterations of ideas guy. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, I like that.
I would argue, Chris, that yes, you are indeed also an ideas guy. You're a good thinker. Curling is lucky to have your participation. Of course, we talked through Todd again. Here, Daryl Sobering is going to try to freeze here, and definitely lie one. And the thing is, if he makes this shot, if he makes the freeze perfectly, he's going to guarantee he gets one. Todd can then throw something, though, to make it really tough for him to get his deuce. But if he makes it well, Todd could, he's still got a chance at a deuce himself, Daryl. But
yeah, well, plus the freeze is a really tough shot, I think.
This looks a little full and heavy, which would be the worst combination. Looks very heavy and wide. And now Todd's going to have a big opportunity. It does dig in the slide path here, and that's exactly what it's doing. He doesn't want to leave it wide open, though. As a little hit and roll is right in Todd Birr's wheelhouse. So I'm going to see what Todd plays, but...
Yeah, I don't mind that. Yeah, you like that?
Thinking straight draw.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're playing here. I thought you were talking. Yeah, no, yeah. So,
no.
Yeah, I just don't think we need a ton. Yep.
Yeah, I think Todd thought for a minute that John was suggesting they do play the straight draw, which wouldn't be a bad call. But like I said,
that seems like it's too aggressive to me.
Oh, it's very testosterone laden. Well, you can't really hurt yourself too much, but you could leave him a little short run for two, or you could, if you don't make the draw just right. This shot to me is one of the kind of thing you never want to leave Todd, because a little quiet hit and roll. If he
misses it wide, though, he could. Yellow could jam back.
Ideally, he shows him half a rock behind that guard. If he shows him half a rock after this roll, Daryl Sobering has a really tough shot. I think it will move, but it's not. It's got some moving to do. Might be just dead nose. Oh, it's starting to go. No, now they got to go to hold it. Could be really good. Half rock.
Beauty.
You know, really just rolled a hair too far, right? If that rolls, if that rolls a rock less, it's really good. Rock less, Daryl Sobering has a really hard chance of scoring. I guess he could play with the out turn, but.
Yeah, I know.
Well, so if we've learned one thing about curling, or about you, Dean, is that you actually really like curling and you like talking about it and watching it.
I do. I love curling. For people who don't know me, I spent a number of years away from the game with work and other things, and I missed that. I missed it all those years, so I was fortunate enough to come back to it when I turned 40, and yeah, it's. I think it's the world's greatest sport. I really do. I tell people that. I'm constantly selling it. If I meet people, I try to convince them to curl. And made great friends, and somebody can compete in this. Looks like I don't think this is going to get there. I think that path, you know, his last one, that path I think is just a little bit slower than people realize. You know, so there's a steal 2 for Todd Birr. Yeah, Daryl's first one really ground up, and I think he took a bit off that one and got into that path where it grinds up a little bit more. Probably one they needed to talk about a bit more before he threw it. It's always good if the front end maybe talks a bit to the skip about what happened with the first one, because it was pretty much the same shot.
So were you involved at all with the Todd Birr hearings?
Well, I was.
Don't really want to get into it
very
much.
It's fine.
It's not important.
No, I'd be happy to talk about it. I was actually, I'm the Athletes Advisory Council rep for USA Curling to the United States Olympic Committee. I was elected to that last year, so and that's a great thing because I love representing the athletes in our sport to the USOC. But that also meant this looks deep.
Yeah.
I also was, as a result of that, I was on the selection committee. So, as I've said to other people, I really wish there had been no selection committee. And my goal, because I will have some voice in shaping the criteria, not a vote, but some voice in shaping the criteria for the next Olympic quad, and I'd like it to be entirely objective, so that it is either the top 4 or the top 5 teams over. We determine that, but by an objective point standard. And we had a threshold that had to be met during this quad, and the only team that met that threshold was John Schuster, so that meant there was a committee to pick other spots, and quite honestly, it was difficult, and I was on that committee, and you know, we had ended up with 3 women's teams and 4 men's teams after that committee, and Todd's team, went through the process to say that they deserved a spot, and you know, and after that, in some ways, I'm glad there is a process, and whatever the result was, I'm happy there's a process and people went through it. I just hope in the future we don't have selection committees. I see no reason to have it.
If you so you're thinking that if Schuster's was the only team that qualified, then.
Well, we had a standard where the standard was you had to be a team had to be in the top 15 of the order of merit, or finish 5th or higher at the World Championships. So we almost had teams in the top 15, but really Schuster's team was the only team because of their finishes at the World Championships that earned their direct spot in the trials without the committee. But that meant, you know, there was only one team, Schuster.
Right. So what I'm asking is, if you don't have a committee, then would it have just been, well, Schuster would be in because he qualified?
No, Schuster could have been in, and we could have said it's the next 3 or 4 or 5 teams after that based on a points criteria.
Gotcha.
The threshold to me is what made it difficult, and unfortunately I believe that threshold was established at a number that, frankly, in the history of U.S. curling, we haven't had that many teams in the top 15. I hope one day we do, but the reality is we don't. So, and I didn't expect that to happen. We have I think our level of play is improving and has improved, but I still would like to see objective standards. So,
if you have some influence in the next iteration, do you think you could put a special clause for short, bearded, stocky Norwegians? Like, you need to have one of those.
Well, maybe there could be a clause that one team has to play with you on their back. How about that?
I don't think anybody could carry that kind of weight.
That would be an unusual
physically
event.
or emotionally.
Yeah, that might be our next Olympic curling event. It's like two-man luge. Two-man luge, another guy lies on top of the one guy.
It came to me, it was dwarf tossing.
Yeah.
On ice.
I never understood why luge gets another medal. You go down on your own, and then you get another guy to lie on top of you, and that's another medal. Never understood that. So we could have curling where you play with a guy on your back. That could be another event.
We're getting, in our house, we're getting a exchange student next week, I think, from Guatemala.
Look at you, Chris. Yeah.
Yeah, 7th grader, Melanie.
Yeah.
Nice.
And she's excited. We have juniors here on Saturday mornings. And so I told her, well, I'm going to bring you up to juniors. And her family's really excited about it. They have no idea what curling was. And I said, well, told her dad, I said, it's an Olympic sport. So she's in 7th grade now. So if she really worked hard, maybe she could be the first,
Guatemalan.
Guatemalan Olympic. They'll probably write reggae songs about her.
Exactly. Oh, this looks like trouble. Oh.
Yeah.
Tom just picked his own. You don't want to, through that full, picked his own. Cleared the rings, which is probably not unfortunate
nice.
or not too upset about. Daryl's going to split the house here. No, he's going to guard. I liked, if we were paying attention, we could know. Depends how long you feel you have to go in the end. It could be it's just seconds last here for them. And that's, it's kind of a long way to go to get your deuce just with splitting the rings. If you threw the corner, I like the corner here. I don't even like it that tight, but it has to be relatively tight. I think I would throw the corner, make Team Birr waste a few peels, and then you can split the rings later in the end. Split the rings now. There's a good chance. It's tough to throw a bunch and not leave a double somewhere, or even if he makes this perfect, John Benton probably rolls over closer to the yellow one, and then you have to get yourself closer to a double. So this is Jaffe. Is that how we say his name? Did you check that, Chris?
Yes, I did check it, and you are correct.
I'll tell you what, the call that you don't like is in the hack. That's a terrible call there. But I'm giving him a hard time. In the third end of our game just now, I threw one through the rings and then another one about 20 feet short.
Yeah, how did that end up? You guys had a lot of, at the very end, you're down one, right? And
yeah.
You had a whole, it was all red.
Yes, we did have a good last end.
Conservative right, right side.
Yes, it was. For a Democrat like me, it was a lot of GOP action out there.
I would never know that based on your Twitter account.
You'd never guess it. You never guess my political leanings.
I don't get Twitter. I just can't do it.
Yeah, you're just.
Oh, I love the Twitter. I'm at Dean Gemmel. If anybody wants to follow me out there, I'll throw that in, where I tweet a bit about comedy, curling, and politics.
Yeah. It's a little bit. Some of your tweets are a little offensive.
Yes, I guess so to certain people.
Which brings me to my next point.
Yes.
So I went and watched you in the saloon over there in Lilydale.
At the Joke Joint in St. Paul.
Yeah, which was really fun. I haven't been there, and it was really odd atmosphere.
Terrific comedy club, though.
Yeah, and the headliner? What was the headliner's name?
Dave Landau.
Oh my
Detroit.
God, he was super.
He was awfully good, wasn't he?
Not to say you weren't good, because you were good.
No, but he's
Aaron really liked your Brady Bunch line of. But the thing that I thought was interesting is he picked out members of the audience.
Yeah.
And really participated. That was his whole gig, which I liked.
This has got some curling to do.
All right.
Wow. Did you just set that back, or what happened?
It's that Pro Glide thing. It catches on your feet.
Wow, that was a bad miss. I'm not sure what that's.
Liar! You said you were going to throw that better.
Oh, Todd, he did not throw it well. He missed that by a foot. So yeah, we're at the Joke Joint. Dave Landau. He did like probably 40 minutes of crowd work, I think.
Yeah, it was really really exciting. I mean, it was really interesting. But the thing is, like, comedy's got a special caveat that you can be offensive. Like he said things that I mean, you go into a comedy club and you have to let go of okay, I might be offended, because there was this guy who was Egyptian.
Yes.
And he just kept. The guy was smiling and he was into it, so it was fine. But afterwards, I'm like, well, it's not very many places that I would have a hard time with being a comedian, because I always have things that I think in my head that I don't say because I'm afraid that's totally inappropriate.
Right. Well, yeah, I certainly say things at a comedy club that might not be appropriate to say right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think one of the things that comedy can do is prompt honest conversation. So Sobering here, by the way, has missed put through 2 through the ring, so they're not going to win a lot of games doing that when the chance to light 2 and see if Todd throws this a little better than John did. John really set that one back.
Yeah, they didn't capitalize on the error.
And I think Todd's just going to nose this, probably roll a little to the center easily. No, he's actually curling a bit. He's probably going to roll out. Should probably aim to roll out at this point. Yeah, you don't really, it's as well to roll that out. But yeah, I will say that I thought Dave Lando was great. I was there 3 nights with him. Did a bunch. He invited me to do a few more spots, and great guy.
This must be my
and
real softer handle.
like you said, I'm not some of his things I probably wouldn't do, but certainly worked for him.
But that one I got going.
The night you were there, he did a lot more crowd work than other nights. We just talked through Todd again. I'm really sorry people are at home listening.
Oh, don't worry about it. This is much more interesting than Todd.
How many viewers do we have?
Because if people actually cared, they would turn the audio off and just watch it.
How many viewers do we have? Do we have any
I have
comments?
No idea. How many?
3 so far.
99?
Anybody commenting saying, would that guy shut up so I can hear the curling? Because if they are, I'll let you know I'll be gone eventually. Anyways, yeah, Joke Joint St. Paul. Thanks for, it was great. Here's another reason I love curling. I was here for the USA Curling Board meetings. I do comedy now, and but there must have been 25 curlers in there that night. It was really great.
Yeah, he had a couple zingers about uninformed zingers about curling.
Yes, unfortunately, most comedians see it as
like,
a bit of a.
This is easy.
Yeah,
easy joke. Yeah, Jessica Schultz was called on for a while.
Yeah, I was hoping Jess was going to mention that she was a 2-time Olympian.
I know. That's what I told Aaron. I was like, I don't think he knows.
Todd wants to roll in here to at least force Daryl Sobering to make a peel out for his blank, which he's going to. Yeah. And now Daryl Sobering will look to peel this one out and blank and move on to the 4th end, see if he can get something going. He hasn't had a ton of offense going.
Artistic, man.
Artistic. Did you hear that? Todd called that one artistic. That's how I throw it, artistically. I had one slide in the last game that was so good I didn't know what to do. I came out and didn't know how to throw it. It was slid so straight at the broom. I'm not used to that. Daryl Sobering hoping to, not much ice. I don't know if he's trying to low side this maybe. I think most players would play this to hit it high side, but I think he's playing it low side. Most of us like to play this high side because we figure then if we nose it, if anything, but it's a more natural peel. Yeah, he's trying to low side it. I wonder if he noses it. If he noses it, he might be out of the rings.
Low side.
So he knows it, and I think he hung on. I can't really see it, but I think he took a single.
I'm just going to cruise through the scores here. So
go
sheet
for
one,
it.
we have Rittenauer and LeClaire. Rittenauer's up 4-0. Looks like they're in the 3rd end. Sheet 2, we have Wilberg and McBride, and Wilberg's up 2-0. Looks like that's in the 3rd end as well. Sheet 3, we have tied up at 0 apiece at Brown and Leichter. Sheet 4 is Hodek and Stopera. Really? Yeah. Hodek and Stopera, and Stopera's up 3-1. And then sheet 6, tied 0-0, Fence and Koivula. I'm rooting for Thunder Bay. I've got relatives in Thunder Bay, and people that live there deserve some brightness.
Thunder Bay, the curling club's all of a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, I knew that. I haven't curled there, though. I haven't curled long enough to curl most of these clubs.
This shot's not going to help Daryl Sobering's cause. He definitely needed some guards up there.
That's the first time I've...
This is sort of a Todd Birr comfortably in control. He's actually going to play a corner here. He's up 2, but he's going to play a corner. He's feeling comfortable enough to force the issue here. Maybe he wants to try to grab a number and get off the ice. Sometimes that's a good strategy in a Spiel. This looks like it's going to come in the rings as well.
That's all right. That's not bad. Pro side, eh?
Todd's not too upset about that.
All right.
Up 2.
Did he just do a product placement for Pro Slide?
No. Pro side, he said.
Pro
there.
side.
Pro side miss. Although, I guess the amateur side miss there would be a hog, which wouldn't be very good, or just a high guard wouldn't be very good either. one that was too high. He wanted a tight corner. It came slipped in.
I'm going to try to work that into my commentary.
Pro side?
When I'm
pro
skipping.
slide.
No, pro side.
Oh, pro side. Yes, you should do that more often. Think about the pro side miss. Also called what's the tolerance? Which way is better to miss it?
So you had another sweeping clinic here.
I did. I do brush like a badass clinics.
I did do a. When you came walking down today, you were holding like in the middle of your match. You're holding like 3 brooms, and then I was like, "Oh, there's Dean. He's got 3 brooms. He's going to really brush like a badass." And then you set them down, and they fell off into the sheet over here.
It was a yard sale. They went everywhere.
I'm like, "Oh God!" Now he's interrupting the next, and I'm like, "Oh yeah."
It really looked like
real
amateur
badass
hour.
move there.
Yeah, it was not badass at all, but yeah.
But that weekend, you were doing comedy, your own deal. Members assembly.
Yeah, board meeting.
Yeah, lots of
brush like a badass
significance.
Clinics. Yeah, I do. I like doing the clinics. It's worked out pretty well. I have that ebook, Brush Like a Badass, and the clinics have been popular.
Is the one you did with Johnny Moe
yeah, that's called Fit to Curl.
Fit to Curl. Is that available in ebook?
Yeah, that's available on Amazon as well. Throw another product plug in here, Amazon.
Yeah, you don't have to follow up my handing you a cupcake with.
Yeah, I know. I could just go into it. I'm just trying to be straight up honest. Yeah, but you can buy both Fit to Curl.
I read Fit to Curl, and I read your the book you wrote.
You read my novel. I've got a novel too. Yeah, a novel, flawed but not terrible.
I liked it actually. I read it up on the North Shore of Lake Superior.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's Escaping Teddy. That's that novel. Yeah. So I'll throw in all my product plugs. You can hire me as a comedian, a brushing clinic. Or you can buy those books.
Now, okay, so
Here comes another miss.
Honestly was not trying to set you up for a line of product placements.
I'll
just tell you right now, all those things are horseshit. I wouldn't get any of those.
I can be shameless in my self-promotion, though, Chris, so that's fine.
I know that from your email signature.
It's a little lengthy. Yeah, I'm going to pare that back, I think, just say.
Yeah, they have a service. It's called Tiny URL. Just set it up on a web page and then just.
Yeah. Well, I do have a web page. I should mention that too. Dean Does Things. There you go.
I do like that website.
DeanDoesThings.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the only thing I could think to cover it all.
Yeah, I think it's clever.
Yeah. Comes Tom.
I had a point in all of that, but.
Yeah. Tom's playing a Peel here.
Clean.
I will say it's not exactly a super well played game so far, but first game is early in the Spiel for these teams. Sobering just can't get much going. He needs to get some offense here, and now he's just going to play a straight hit. So we could check out again for the rest of the end, I think, Chris, because there's not going to be a lot of rocks in play. Todd's does have an opportunity for deuce. It's a long way to go for it, but lying 2 right now. No
Is it
guards.
So you're friends with John Morris, right?
Yeah, I'd count John as a friend of mine. Sure, yeah.
I've met him. I've curled against him. Actually beat him.
in the St. Paul, the lupus Spiel.
Yeah. But he was great because he was all in his Norwegian gear. It made me really jealous.
Oh yeah, I think he wore some crazy pants that weekend, right?
But I read this quote, I can't remember if it was a quote or it was an interview, and he talked about how, like, before curling season, he felt he was in great shape for curling. He said, "Yep, I went out and I caught a moose. I shot a moose or something like that, or I got my freezer full of halibut, or I don't know, something like that." It's like, so I'm all ready for curling season.
Whoa.
And I was just like, yeah, I love that.
John is
I can see why you're single.
He's a.
John.
Oh, I don't think that's why he's single. He's a bit of an action. They're missing a lot of hits here. Tom floated that one, and he's going to hit and roll out. Daryl can now.
Everything's positive.
Yeah. You hear Todd say everything's positive. That means that everything Tom's throwing is a little wide of the broom. Usually we say positive, which means you're a little full of the broom all the time. So,
how are things at the Plainview Curling Club?
The Plainfield Curling Club in South Plainfield, New Jersey. Yeah, no, it's.
I love that club.
It's
I
a
went
great
that one
club.
time. It was super fun.
Yeah, we know how to have a good time there.
The steak dinner that y'all cooked was impressive.
Yeah, it's a 2-sheet club and literally the smallest club you'll ever be in, but a lot of fun. Great people.
It seems like the culture of curling is a little bit different on the East Coast because the curling clubs are smaller, but they're farther, they're closer, like Minneapolis has a lot, they're really close, but it just seemed like there are people who came up from didn't Ian come from like Pennsylvania or something?
Yeah, there's the Philadelphia
everything is within
club.
like just a couple hours of drive.
Yeah, a couple hours of hellish
and everybody seemed to
drive.
know a lot of people.
Yeah, I think there's there's certainly a lot of people curl different places in the East Coast. I would say it's a little bit You know, I would say out here in Minnesota, I love playing in Minnesota actually, but you know, Western Canadian curling culture is a little different than it is in Ontario and the East Coast, and on the East Coast of the United States, we probably tilt a little more towards that East or Ontario or East Coast culture when it comes to socializing, etc. But you know what,
what does that mean?
Well, I'll here, like in here's how it works. Here's one thing, like where I grew up in Ontario, you would always sit with the other team and you know, get by the winners by and losers reciprocate. Yeah. You go further west in Western Canada, and they often don't do that. A lot of curling clubs out there will have tables of 4, so you just sit with your team afterwards instead of the other team as well. So, yeah, here I find it's a little more of a mix, but yeah, people do seem to do the sit around for a little bit afterwards, which is something I always like. I mean, certainly when you're competing in something more important, you're not going to sit around and have beers, but last game of the day, if you have a day the next day when you don't have as much, you might. So, or if you're like me these days and you're not super serious, you might do that.
I'll mind it again.
So Todd's going to play the freeze again.
I noticed at your club, which was different than so here, the winner buys, but you end up buying pitchers. But at your club, like I played lead after I got demoted. Because I couldn't get the rock down. You're like, yeah, we need somebody who can move something. Which I was like,
that still stings, does it, Chris? It still stings.
No, but I don't care. The thing is that being the lead really allowed me to maximize the Lightspeed broom.
Yes, it certainly did.
Yeah.
Boy, are you hoping to get a Balance Plus sponsorship? There's a pretty nice shot here by John. He's going to move it a little more than he'd like, but you know, it's interesting, Todd playing the freeze there. Sometimes he had a deuce set up, pretty easy deuce. Sometimes you just get frustrated and I mean, I think the freeze was the right. I think the freeze was the right call there. Not saying it wasn't, but often when you have a deuce set up and you lose it, sometimes it's easy to play something you shouldn't. I certainly think the freeze was the right call there, but
I always struggle with when to do the freeze. Not struggle, but I just don't know when to do the freeze.
Well, you know, when you have last rock, you know, freeze certainly makes a lot of sense. I mean, Todd's really not in any trouble here. He's up 2. Everything's in the back of the rings. Now Daryl has to be careful about how he plays that. And even though that freeze wasn't perfect, Daryl is, you know, not going to be able to hit and stick without jamming. So I think I'd probably play this with the intern. That's the thing that I find a little interesting here. Play with the intern on the high side, and you might be able to stick around on the right side of the house there. So I think I would play the other turn. This is a real easy one to jam. I just don't like playing this.
Why do curlers, like semi-pro level curlers, need to use the term in-turn, out-turn? Is that just to confuse people that don't know how to curl?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, you could make a case for either the in-turn should be called the out-turn, but it certainly helps when you're trying to figure out which turn to play.
Yeah, but like as a commentator, like does that help to say in-turn or out-turn as opposed to inside outside or left
clockwise,
right?
Counterclockwise?
Right.
Yeah, and then the left-handed, right-handed thing screws everything up.
Yes, yeah.
Just not here.
That was a bad miss there. I think
there's been a lot of those. Actually, I think it has to do with the commentary. You know,
I think they're annoyed that we're not paying close enough attention, Chris. So they will throw some miss. They're making some misses and then saying, "Well, look, stick in the game, guys, or we're just going to play like this." I think the thing with that one, right? If you're for people at home, I mean, you play the in-turn. You're trying to hit it high side, so you're coming into it. When you play that out turn, you're having to cross it to move it out without jamming it, and then you have to hit it in a way that's not really ideal. So thinking about which way to play a shot, even a basic one like that, is important.
The ice makers at St. Paul have always told me when they'll watch me play and I'll make a mistake, and they always say, you know, outside in on St. Paul ice. I don't know what that means. I mean, I know what it means, but I don't know why. Like our different ice, you know, doing the out turn might make sense. I don't know.
Well, you find, you know, most of the better players, like on hits, they usually, depending on, we usually like to play it outside in, right? Because it's going to run a little straighter for a while and then make it move. So typical conditions, straight up hit, you're going to play it outside in. Newer curlers, I think, generally sort of like it inside out because it's a little easier to slide on line that way. So Todd, pretty good, almost even, not bad. Darryl will be hard pressed to. Actually, he's got no double there because the double just jams.
Yeah.
So that's actually a good spot because you know, Todd was talking about putting it higher, but I actually like it there because even if he tries to roll over there, he's jamming it on one of those back yellows.
Yeah, that's good.
Darryl has his mic up, but it looks like he's debating the freeze, which might be his best option here.
He's got to make it dead. It's just not good. Yeah.
Todd saying that the yellow jams. He's got to make this freeze perfect. I mean, this is one of these. You can make the freeze, but if you chop off even a hair, you got trouble. Of course, if he could make the freeze.
Yeah, but your dick's down.
Todd.
I think Todd just said something naughty. Oh, and it's chuckles galore out there now.
They heard it too.
Yes, we like it. Well played, Todd Birr. Well
I wonder
played.
why he's standing out there. Oh, because John's back. I always like coming back and getting the affirmation of the third.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, sometimes it's good to talk to your front end players, the
What did they decide to do here?
unsung heroes.
What did they decide to do?
So you think a draw is the right?
I can't. They heard it. They gave me the thumbs up upstairs. They totally heard it.
Unbelievable. I was just saying I'm going to step out, Chris, so you could bring in someone less self-promotional.
Yeah.
I'm going to make one more plug for the Joke Joint in St. Paul because they're good people. Before I go, if you're in this area.
What did you think about the opener on that?
Oh, he's in a. You know, I don't like to criticize other comedians. So
I know it's tough.
It's tough. The MC job is always a tough one.
Yeah,
Tough,
it's
really
got to
tough.
be the hardest job ever. And
Yeah.
the guy that came on right before,
Yeah.
the writer, I could see like his humor didn't go over well
Yeah.
on that particular night. I don't think
Yeah.
he,
You wanna just hit it, or
which
you like
probably
playing
just
like one?
happens.
But a couple nights, the next night he killed. So
Yeah.
it's
No.
it's
That's
a
what
certain
I'm thinking.
style
Just
he
one.
has that. But yeah, I think he's funny. But yeah, some nights better than others.
Think
But
that's
one night later he absolutely
Okay.
killed.
All right.
So yeah, so I think if Darryl had left it maybe on the other side, it might have spun over on. Might have made it a little trickier for Todd because it could have spun over onto that 7 rock. But
So I
Todd-
was wondering if,
I don't think it's
in
gonna
the
move
opposite
much.
of a freeze, if you would have tried to hit that on the outside
Yeah,
and shoot it this way,
yeah. But then Todd has a
he
base-
just put it back. Eh?
simple draw for 2,
Yeah.
right? So he's trying to, you know, he's down 2. Giving up
Yep.
2 here is pretty much the game.
Yep.
So, and Todd actually has a chance for 3, but I think he'll be fine with 2. He's throwing this with enough weight. I think he's just playing the straight pick. What he doesn't want to do is over curl and jam it, which it's close to doing. I think he's going to get away with that. Yeah, he's going to get his deuce. A couple ways to get the deuce there. So he's got 2, and that, you know. So Darryl had to throw that shot. You know, he really needed to get at least a force and probably a steal there to have
Yeah,
any
now it's a new
chance in
game,
this
3-3.
Yeah, well now it's 5-1 for Todd.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Oh, right. Got it.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, Chris, as always, it's been a pleasure spending a bit of time with you.
Yes.
Chris Lisney, a great supporter of curling. I see the Terrapin curling banner up there.
Oh, yeah.
Love that.
Lots
So-
of Terrapin teams. You know, actually, Terrapin is sponsoring Todd Birr's team.
Oh, very nice.
It was
There
a
you go.
barroom deal, actually.
A bar.
I happened to be, I was practicing up there when they found out that they
Oh,
got
so
selected.
then yeah.
And we were talking about it, and I said, well, if there's anything I can do to help you. And he said, well,
They said there sure is, Chris.
yeah,
You
we're
got your
short,
checkbook?
We're short of sponsors. And
You got your checkbook.
I said, wow, you're brazen brazen behavior is going to be rewarded.
Curlers have to be brazenly self-promotional as well.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, I do have to leave here.
All right.
But as I have enjoyed it, my friend, I'm happy to step in again if people don't hate me.
When you go downstairs,
yes,
if you could ask Pete
Westford, Pete Stolt to come up here. All right,
yeah.
I will definitely do that.
And then the whiskey.
Yes,
we'll do later. I don't want to.
I do owe you a whiskey. I have a game at 6, so after that game, for sure.
Great.
Yeah. All right, Chris. Good seeing you, man.
Good luck on your game.
All right, I'll look for Pete downstairs.
Cool. Thank you, sir. All right, well, now I'm all by myself, and I'm going to actually pay attention now. Maybe. So Birrs just drew into the house, and kind of standard. We were up so much. And Sobering is doing the corner guards. I imagine it'll probably be, once we get past the 4-guard zone, it'll be a lot of cleaning up. I'm going to try to do
bump them a little bit. I don't want to leave a pop.
Try to do a scoreboard update. We're actually having some problems with the scoreboard on the software, being able to overlay it. Might be able to have that figured out at some point, but not at this point. So on sheet 1, we have oh, my computer just went crazy. There it goes. Yeah, Cameron Rittenauer is leading 4-2 over Bob LeClaire. Sheet 3 is Mark Wilberg is up 4-3 over McBride. Sheet 1 is a real tight one. It's 1-0 in the 4th end for Alex Leichter. Sheet 4 is also tight, 3-2 for Alex DePera, and they're on the 4th end. Our sheet, Todd Bird's up 5-1. And sheet 6, Cuevla is trailing Pete Fenson 3-1.
That one or that one?
I had a lot of really insightful and important things to talk to with Dean, but
2 up.
He's a little bit of a force as far as competing with in the talking. So, but he's pretty funny and entertaining, so might as well let him dominate the airwaves.
Yep.
Stompin' Tom throws his rock right down the center. Looks like he's going to try to pick out the yellow there.
Go hard. Go hard. That's fine.
And
Tom.
he does it, and he leaves it. Yeah. What do you mean it's fine? That's good. Dale Sobering is discussing what to do. See that that's the universal signal, these left or right. Todd's sitting 3 right now. Looks like he's going to try to freeze in the button. We'll nestle it in there between those 2 reds. Oh, it is really moving over. He's got to be happy with that. That'll be hard to get out, I would imagine.
Could go this way with it. Yep. 3. Nose is good. Play same turn.
I swear it seems like he's thrown 3 rocks, but I'm sure that's not the case.
Close, whoa.
I think somebody might notice.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh, it's a little outside.
Good.
Well, he got it, though. Moved his own. So reducing opportunities there.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Oh, no. Todd says it's perfect, so it must be.
Probably should have told him there was more danger of actually crossing over and coming off that top red.
I think that the reason why I think that the Stompin' Tom threw more is because he's got similar hair cut and hair pattern as his compatriot on the other team. So just at a quick glance, they kind of look similar, even though one's wearing white and one's wearing black. But that's just me.
You can just peel it out.
Well, seems like more of the same.
Okay.
This one's centered a little bit more behind the backing stones.
Yep, gotta go hard.
John Ben delivers his rock.
Whoa.
Looks like it's going right along the line. Hits it straight. Moves the yellow through the gap. Bumps out the one red. They're still sitting 2 in the blue, and they've got 1 out in the 8. So Birr sitting 3. So I think Aaron Johnston is about to throw for Team Sobering. Steps down in the Marco hack, draws back, launches, delivers. Very nice delivery. Very similar. It's hanging out there on the right. It's going to peel off and move. It's going to let it stick.
We're 1-2.
Yeah, I don't know with that yellow over there covering up that outside one. I guess I might draw over, but try to sit 3. But I shouldn't be giving anybody advice. I've only curled a couple years.
That is probably there. Right here? Okay, I'll mind that.
About to be joined by Pete Stoll.
Room. Line's
I'm going to
good.
keep him on mute for a while. And then that way he'll think he's talking, but nobody will be able to hear him.
Line's great.
All right, now I'm going to unmute him. No, I'm not.
Easy, guys.
Apparently he's got a bigger head than Dean.
That's probably true.
Hey, Pete, how's it going?
Hey, Chris.
Glad to have you here. I've been struggling here for, I don't know, maybe 8 rocks all by myself. I don't really know what the heck I'm talking about, so I'm glad to have you here.
Well, I hope I can provide some insights.
So Sobering's struggling to get a rock. They're down quite a bit, so they don't have a lot of opportunity. They keep on drawing it right into the button, and then Todd's team just peels it out.
As good as it could be.
Yeah, Sobering's going to need to start being a little aggressive, take some chances. Those rocks in play now could potentially help them out. You know, they just got to find a way to get 2 here and start fighting back.
They should be able to get those 2 out, though, right? For the longest time, they were more parallel, but they slowly kind of were replacing rocks, and now they lined them up. Not that that's going to help them.
Like another option on that shot would have been to just kind of lightly tap them, keep those reds in the back 8-foot. You know, when they got hammer like that, they can try to use those reds to make it harder to get rid of their own yellows. So
I'll mind that.
They've been kind of doing that. I mean, they've been drawing in anyways.
The thing about here is if you do if you sit here, they might have the triple.
So how's the
how's
the cash spiel going for you so far?
Right.
It's going well.
You guys do a really great job, and seems like you're all so laid back about it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's you know, for the most part,
it runs itself to an extent. I mean, all the teams here have played in plenty of events like this before, so they generally know what's going on. Just kind of take care of a lot of things themselves. So you don't really have to do too much, but
deeper, so if he hits me, then
you just got to be ready to answer any questions and make sure things are going on schedule and everyone's getting out there. And
I must say your speech skills are pretty good. I was pretty impressed with them. I think you might have taken a little bit of encouragement from George Patton.
Yeah, I've had some inspiring speeches given to me in the day, so from yours truly. So
I don't remember if that helped or not. It made me feel like I was delivering some value to your team.
It couldn't have hurt. I mean, a good pregame pep talk it's never a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Get you in the right mode to go out there and play well. Let's see. Todd's just trying to.
This is just like deja vu.
Not bad.
Todd was a little bit worried about maybe setting up a triple for him. That was kind of one thing they didn't want to do here. Find a way to put a rock where Sobering can make that triple and sit too. But
so now, why wouldn't he? I was just saying this as you were coming up, saying that I'm sure this is a horrible idea, but why wouldn't Todd have tried to, like, they've been kind of in the same, get one to the other side under that other guard.
Without hammer, that's not gonna. That's not gonna help Todd as much. I mean, I think Team Birr.
Because the last shot is gonna be right in there.
They're already looking good to kind of force Sobering to one. At least try to get one here. So they're just trying to make sure they don't give him any more than one. Coming under that guard would have been a fine shot to continue with that and hold them to one, but you're also going to make it easier for them to get one. So they're taking a shot to make it harder for Sobering to score. But Team Birr is going to be very happy holding Sobering to one. So get the hammer back in the sixth.
Someone's got coffee. It smells good.
You got it.
Nice.
Under the guard.
Ooh, almost.
Good shot.
Real good attempt there by Sobering. Didn't quite bury it. But yeah, if you would have made that roll, then I think Todd would have been forced to just kind of draw down to it and hold him to one that way.
Just one way.
You mentioned in your speech, one of your speeches, one of your many speeches, that the Louisiana Cafe upped their sponsorship level this year.
Yeah, it was good to see. We got a lot of the same sponsors year over year, and it's nice to see a place stick. It's nice to see anyone stick with us, and then to be able to up the contribution is really appreciated.
How do you connect with a business like that? Did you guys just eat a lot of breakfast there? Because they have big breakfasts.
Yeah, I don't eat enough breakfast there. I'd like to get there tomorrow. No, I think they were a sponsor when we kind of inherited the Spiel. So that's so we were able to just kind of keep the connection going through that.
I couldn't quite see with your guys' feet, but I'm like.
Could you explain? I know. So this is a cash Spiel, and the men's purse is like over $12,000. And but it looks like some purses, like if you look at like World Curl or Curling Zone, like this weekend, say there's 5 cash Spiels, and there's 2 that are like 10,000 and 8,000, and then there's ours, and then there's ones at 40,000 and 50,000. Like does the purse affect the points that it's worth, or does it affect the quality of people that, I mean, not quality, like they're all good people, except for Pete Fenson. No, he's a great person, actually.
The purse, I think it was actually a couple years ago, I think they changed the calculations where the actual total purse is factored into the points available for the event. That's, I think it's a smaller part of it. There's a few things. There's like the number of teams. There's the strength of field, and the purse size is factored into it. So of course, the bigger money events, do attract, the better teams, and most of the bigger money events too will have a higher entry fee to go with that. The entry fee might be $1,000 to $1,200 per team.
Looks like it.
Our entry fee here was $650. So that. The entry fee helps bring the bigger purse, and also the sponsorship money. Some of those events I think are able to get much bigger sponsorship.
Wait a minute. So a higher entry fee gets a higher more sponsors. Like, because you get higher quality.
Yeah,
like
I think it probably
well-known curlers or something.
Yeah, I think it goes hand in hand. Like if they have more sponsorship money, available for the event, if you get a sponsor that kicks in, say $20,000 to run an event, well, you can't, you want the best teams there. I mean, to have all the events want the best teams to show up for their event.
Well, it seems like though on the U.S. side, at least the men's side, you have all the best teams. I mean, you have the four.
Yeah, we have
4 of 5.
Yeah, no, that's great. We got on the men's side 4 of the 5 U.S. Olympic trials teams. So
some of that's probably geography, I guess.
Yeah, some of it. I mean, a lot of these teams have been coming here for years, and hopefully they like coming back and like the event. That's what we aim for.
Birr got 2 more.
Yeah, Sobering unfortunately wrecked on that guard, and it's going to make it pretty tough for him now. Birr's just going to keep it clear, play nothing but hits. And
so if you had, as far as like sponsors or money for, like, so if you raised, say you figured out how to get the purse to $20,000, do you think that would change the Spiel at all?
Potentially. I mean, the more, I think there's a number of factors that teams look into, but when they're planning out their season. But I mean that's certainly going to factor in it if they see like, oh, we can go down to St. Paul and we have a chance to win twice as much money.
Which helps with the budget, because this, I mean, being a curler like that's expensive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and running this event, we keep it, we pay out as much as we can. Like we end up paying out, more than the total entry fees that we bring in. So the sponsorship money we get, some of that goes, to the prize pool, and the rest of it kind of covers the operating expenses of the event. So I'm not sure if all, not quite all the events I think can really say that you pay out more than 100% of the entry fees. So
you're curling. You and Marine are curling mixed this year again, right? Mixed doubles.
Yeah, mixed doubles. That's we're really focused on that.
You're going to Europe to do this.
Yeah, we just booked a trip to Bern, Switzerland for kind of a big European event there.
That's awesome.
A lot of the few former world champion doubles teams are there. And
are you guys going to
experience.
Be curling in the Olympic trial?
We are hoping to be. We are not.
You have to qualify?
We have to be selected. It's down to a committee selection for the last spot. So.
Well, that's no good.
So we're trying. We're yeah.
I'm sure you guys have a good shot because you're great curlers and so friendly. So. But that's kind of that's cool.
Yeah, it's good. It'd be an honor to have that chance to play in the trials, and we hope we can get it.
John.
So we got a flyby here by Tom.
Yep. Just a bit on the right.
Gave it a little extra on the release there.
Boy, I tell you what, having Dean on, he's got all these, like, this phraseology. Like, I'm sure you guys, all you guys that have curled more than, a season have all this, but, like, pro side, the Brooklyn flyaway or something. He's got all these, like, little phrases.
Yeah, I think I call that one a flyby or a flash. But yeah, Brooklyn, I think, might have been when you're trying to peel it and you're so narrow, you just hit it on the other side of the rock that you're trying to. And
but you even corrected me.
You still make the shot.
Yeah.
But it's just a different way.
Yep.
I could do that pretty well back in juniors. I remember when playing second, threw a lot of peels, and hey, you want me to hit it on that side? Well, I'll hit it on the other side. Just as good. So yeah, Soberian's had to get an opportunity to set up a little bit of an end here with that miss on the peel by Tom. See if Tom can correct.
How long have you been running the Spiel?
Good question. I think
or been involved in the Spiel. I don't know what you're running. I know it's a committee approach.
Maybe.
All right.
Yeah, Marine really does most of the for sure the prep work and organization leading up to the event. But yeah, it's a committee of Marine and myself and Julie Smith this year. So, and we get a lot of volunteer help. It's real nice.
So you don't know the answer?
For a number of years. I think this might be our 4th, I think.
Have you ever seen in this event an 8-ender?
I don't think so.
Well, we might
know
sometime.
That would be tough, or unlikely, but
I would think so, yes.
You know, sometimes I think, you know, the more important an event is, or the more important a game is, it's possible that could make it more likely to see an 8-ender, because, you know, a team can end up in a situation where, you know, they don't care if they give up 1 point or 8 points to the other team. If they don't score themselves, the game's over. So, you know, then they're going to take those opportunities. But still, the way these teams play, there's not much chance of an 8-ender.
But they might, like, it might be like if you feel real confident about your draw abilities. I don't know how you ever get to that situation, but I was thinking you might be like, oh, well, I'm going to ignore all of those other rocks and I'm going to throw them on and then miss. I've only had the opportunity once to throw into an 8 where I could have got an 8-ender.
Yeah.
And Richie Roonan, it was on sheet 6 here. Richie Roonan was on sheet 5, and he kept on giving me crap the whole game about how I wasn't yelling at my sweepers and I wasn't doing this. And he's like, you got to get this. And then when he saw that and I missed it, he wouldn't let it. Well, whatever. You get a lot of pressure. That's pressure. If I wouldn't have even noticed, which I didn't really notice at the time, and then he said, oh, you know, you have an 8-ender here. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, don't point that out.
Yeah. My I told you the thing about my daughter and TSR time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll save that for somebody else.
You want to take them?
It almost seems at this point it's like, well.
Just off nose.
All right, well, let's see what else is going on around here.
Yeah.
It's nice that you don't, I mean, I guess that probably means that the field is smaller, but it's nice that we don't have to curl much on 7 and 8 or 7.
Whoa, good.
Yeah, it does helps out a little bit. We how did that go? I think last year we only used the 6 sheets. We only had, I think we kept it to 20 men's teams last year and 10 women's.
That's
the way it worked out this year, we had a couple more men's teams that were signed up, and unfortunately we were only able to get 6 women's teams. So, you know, we had some interest in teams that were signed up on the women's side, but then had to drop out. So, ended up with only 6. So, on the women's side, this event actually won't count towards the World Curling Tour points.
Oh, that's too bad.
With only 6 teams, 10 is the minimum. But you know, the teams are still getting good games, and you know, got a little bit of money on the line for them as well, and so it's still good. Good practice for them.
Just to kind of go over what's going on, sheet 1, it's Rittenauer's up 5-2. They're in the 5th end over LeClaire. And on sheet 2,
I like one.
They're on the 6th end, and Wilberg's up 4-3 over McBride. Sheet 3 is tied 1-1 in the 5th between Craig Brown and Alex Leichter. Is that how you say it? Leichter?
I mean, we get the top one.
Leichter, yeah.
Yeah,
should have just gone with it. That's what I've been doing the whole time. Sheet 4, it's tied up 3-3. I think these are 2 junior teams, Ortic and Stopera. I recognize Slusar from the, I think he was skip in the juniors.
Oh. Could be a junior nationals preview.
And then on sheet 6, it's Koivula from Thunder Bay is up 4-3 over Pete Fenston. I always like the Thunder Bay collection.
Yeah, Koivula, I think, and I think we have one other team from Thunder Bay come down, our only our international representatives.
So. I'm just being a little soft with those. They're really curling.
So how many Spiels do you guys have lined up, you and Maureen? Like of these kind of cash Spiel type stuff?
We have 5 total, and like up to Thanksgiving weekend.
Wow.
Thanksgiving, right after Thanksgiving weekend is when they're going to make the selections for the Olympic trials. After that, we don't have anything planned for sure, except the U.S. Nationals will be in January. And hopefully the Olympic trials would be mid-December.
So it's like important to you to make a statement and be, you know,
Yep. So we're
give yourself an opportunity to do really well, and then people will be like, oh, well, they're surging.
Yeah, they actually kind of changed or clarified the selection
flat,
procedures to say that they'll
What's that?
that they will consider results up
Try it.
until that cutoff date, and the selection date actually was originally a few days earlier, so it was maybe the Thursday or Friday of Thanksgiving, and so they bumped it out to after the Duluth mixed doubles Spiel, so just to kind of guarantee that those results technically count towards the selection, I guess. So.
Dean talked a little bit about the, how Birr was excluded, and then, because he was, kind of in that process.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. And he said he wishes there wasn't any kind of committee. It all should just be points and numbers.
Yeah, I mean.
Wow, hard for a piece.
Oh, that's a big piece, Todd. Yeah, so good draw by Sobering there. Gives them kind of an easy deuce, but that's kind of how Team Birr, once you get a lead like this, you kind of play that way a little bit. You don't really care. You don't want to give them two, but giving them two here is not the end of the world. So you don't want to give them any more than two, so you can kind of change your shot calls a little bit for that, just to make it easy for yourself. And 'cause they're still going to be up 4 here with hammer, and the 7th end is a real pretty dominant position for them.
Keep it clean again.
Sobering leaves no doubt about it. Draws right to the tee line. Oh. And I guess Sobering doesn't like their chances of coming back down 4 without hammer to Team Birr here, so they're going to
guys, good luck tonight.
Shake hands and rest up for the next game.
Boy, you just notice how Mr. Benton there has a really nice smile. It's nice that when you're it's very easy to smile when you have handshakes in your favor.
Yeah.
All right, what else do we have going on? Actually, looks like on sheet 4 and sheet 6 we have kind of
close games there. I think close game on sheet 3, I think. Oh, except for that 3 in the 5th end.
Yeah, we can't see that because there's a post right there. I've been talking to the people about removing these posts because you can't see.
Got the tape in it, man.
Yeah, the roof should be all right.
Well, steel beam construction.
Do you suppose we're off the telecast by now?
No. No. Yep, now they are.
Okay.
That's hilarious.
So do you want to pick a game that we're going to focus on for the remainder here? Or?
Yeah. Well, we actually now have cameras over on 1 through 3. So we can do that. Although here we've got 2 good games going. I don't know which side, what end we're shooting on, but
we got all the ones on 1, 2, 3 are pretty close.
Yeah.
If you want to switch to that, I don't know.
Let me. It doesn't look like Gearhead over there is. Let me just go tell him.
You made 2 good ones in the 5th.
If anyone out there watching has any suggestions on what game you'd like us to focus on, feel free to So yep, if you're most curlers in the U.S., if you play competitively, you've played against a Brown probably. So. But I think Steve's retired now, and Erica's moved to Canada, and so Craig's the only one left.
What's
living? Canadian curler, and moved to Ontario, like Oakville, I think is where they're at.
That's where the tankard or whatever is. This is an Oakville tankard.
Yeah.
So is this the team they're playing? Leichter, they're from out east. Is that right?
Yeah. East
Boston?
Coast team, I think. I believe Leichter's from like the Boston area or so. No, his third, Martin Sather, lives in New York City. I think they're kind of spread out. Chris Bond, I believe, is in Seattle. So
yeah, it seems like that'd be really hard to have a team, and it'd be really expensive. Like everybody would have to fly. Yeah, there's no chatting.
No action. Huh?
There might be, but there isn't on my little iPad. Maybe I have to be logged in. It would be down below, I think. It does say that 222 people are watching. Or 22.
20, yeah. Well, thanks for watching, everyone.
Yeah. Oh, somebody's walking by with a pitcher of beer. That's disturbing.
It's not too early for that.
Brown's just going to kind of tap his in a little bit.
Yeah, Craig's going to try his best to use those red rocks to his advantage and make it trickier for a team Leichter to get rid of his own.
So would that have been an aggressive play right there? I was telling Dean that people say that things are aggressive, and I said in curling it's like the aggressive plays are not aggressive. I mean, like to the bare eye.
The aggressive shot is to softly tap it.
Yeah.
The defensive call is to smash it as hard as you can.
Yep. So he's just going to try to pick that one out of there, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I didn't see exactly what he called. I think he's going to try to keep the shooter around. It's more a question of where he wants to roll the shooter. I don't think he wants to hit it right on the nose. Well, that's what he did. But I could be wrong. Maybe that's what they wanted. But again, that's a big pocket for Craig to use. I mean, if you put another yellow rock in the middle of all those.
So if he did that, why would that be a good thing?
Because Craig just wants to get rocks in the house where red can't get rid of them.
But then he has to get rid of the red eventually.
He does, but the way they're set up, you got to be patient. But I guess
I always hate that when I play. People say, "Oh, you just put it in there. You're behind. You got to put." I'm like, yeah, but their rocks are all over the place. I mean, I realize that if you got rid of all those, then you're not going to have any opportunity to score. So
yeah, that's
it seems scary to me.
This is where the game kind of turns into a chess match where you're trying to wonder what the other team's going to do, because you get in a situation where you ignore those red rocks for now and play to just put one on top of it. Well, you're kind of hoping that red doesn't just throw a guard and say, okay, how are you going to get rid of ours now?
Mm-hmm.
But usually the team with the lead doesn't like throwing guards. They're not going to do it until maybe their last shot at the end. Because if they throw a guard, they're still probably going to be giving you a chance to make a nice shot where you might be able to set up a multiple score. And Craig, since Craig's only down by 3, if they can find a way, they don't need to get them all back right here. I think they need to focus on being able to get 2 out of this end. if they can do that, they're kind of right back in it. They got 2 ends to go, and
So if they hit that pocket right, the back red is going to move, and then they're going to be totally exposed, and then red can come down and pop them out.
Yeah,
almost it's like you got to leave those there.
Well, I think what they were just kind of thinking about is tapping the red in the top 4 foot, on kind of from our perspective the left side. So tap that to the back 8 and roll the shooter so it's kind of in the pocket of the remaining 2 reds.
Right.
So sometimes you get do 2 things with it. Kind of get rid of one of their stones, but leave the other 2, as the backing for your shooter. So.
Well, I must say that your commentary on the game is the best I've seen. And those very flattering words about your wife.
Well, thank you, Chris. Oh, hi, Maureen.
She's got the Dynasty Curling hoodie. Boy, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
Dynasty Curling.
Dynasty's really taken off. Great. Seems like a pretty good success story for a curler starting a little curling business. Colin Hodgson, who runs it, and he's got a partner that helps him out with it quite a bit. They're doing great. I mean, they do a great work. They got good quality stuff. The printing process that everyone kind of uses now, it's so nice to be able to just fully customize your jacket and sponsor logos. It works so great for that. So it's really.
So what is that printing? Is it? Do you know what the name of it is?
Dye sublimation.
Dye sub, yeah.
Printing, yeah.
I was going to say G clay, but that's on. You put that on I think. That's like on a hard surface.
No,
it's for transferring
I don't
image.
know that one.
Yeah. I don't really know either one, but I've heard the terms. You know who invented the printing press?
Is that Gutenberg?
He invented the Bible. No, it's a Gutenberg press.
I don't know if that's right.
I don't know if he wrote that, did that.
Brown's having a hard time figuring out what to do here.
Yeah.
Again, the teams
How much time does he have on his clock?
Teams aren't on clocks here, so sometimes
this is a pretty critical
teams
spot,
don't worry
though,
too much
for
about
him.
that. It is, but
Who's that handsome guy with the hat that's got the light sprayed broom there that he's?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Who's the guy then?
The guy in the hat?
Yeah.
Jason Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like Team Brown is they're kind of trying out a different tweak to their lineup. Their lineup last year, Croy Nürnberger was shooting third and like holding the broom for Craig, and they with Jason at second, they tried swapping them. I think just for this event might be the first time they tried it. So
what did they decide to do?
Jason was second last year.
No, I mean in the shot.
I'm
sorry.
I don't know. I didn't see that. It looks like they're just playing a takeout.
Yeah, but they're doing an in-turn, right?
Yep. Oh, he's playing it pretty quiet. The ice must be running fairly straight there.
No, it's out-turn. No, it's in-turn.
That's in-turn. So yeah, they're playing just kind of a light takeout on, kind of like I talked about before. So they get rid of that one, and they didn't want to bump those that much. But
when you were talking before, I thought that you were talking about hitting the one on the right here and then rolling into that double pair.
Oh. Yeah, if they could have hit a little bit more of that one and not bumped the other red one out into the 8-foot, then it would have been harder to get rid of the yellow. As it is, Leichter's going to be able to hit that and sit 3. But he'll probably set up a double for Craig. And
so wait a minute, he can hit that and sit 3, so does he hit it on the inside side and then?
Yeah.
Won't that one go flying out? Like they're red? If they hit that yellow?
If he hits it on the center line side, the red won't go.
Huh. Yeah, I think you're wrong. Let's check this out.
It might rub it a little bit, but
I don't really think you're wrong.
If he hits it on the wrong side of the nose, he could take the red out. But I think if he hits it anywhere on the center line side of nose of that yellow, he'll be all right.
I always enjoy watching these, competitive curlers when the skip puts down their broom and then the other guy comes by and just like very carefully replaces it as if, and then they move it just at the last minute. Make sure you get in that exact same spot, because I can't give you that spot again. I couldn't say, oh, no, that way.
Yeah, that's better than sometimes when the skip gets in the hack and looks down and is like, it's not where I put the broom. Sometimes it's harder to tell from the hack. Things look different from the hack, and sometimes the skip has to just trust what they've been seeing on the playing end, and trust the broom. Are
you curling in any club spiels this year? Let's see here. He's on the inside.
No plans to. Yeah, he's was over curling on him. And
well, what do you have to say for yourself? That red one went right out.
Just like I said it would if he hit it on the wrong side of nose.
Was that a Brooklyn?
I think we were both right. Yeah, he did he accidentally Brooklyn that, but it might not count as a Brooklyn if you don't still kind of make
the last time I did this spiel, I think I might have learned that from the old that old grizzled ice maker Belvich. Pair of pants. I think he taught me that. I'm not sure, but a pair of pants. So I used that the whole season. Pair of pants, and now Brooklyn. That's my new one. I probably don't say it right though. Yeah. Brooklyn. You call it a Brooklyn Bridge?
Oh, when in Rome. Brooklyn Bridge?
No, is it just a Brooklyn?
Just a Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a.
It's when you come across.
I think it's a bowling term too.
Oh, I don't know if I like that. Guy at work always teases me when I'm out. The next day I'll complain about being tired and sore about curling. He's like, "Oh, did you go bowling last night?" Bowling can hurt your hands though.
I'd fire that guy if I were you. Bowling. Ooh.
My IT guy, who actually is not my IT anymore, he is resigned this week, took another job. But he used to work with John Benton at United Healthcare.
Oh.
And when I first got into curling, he told the story. He said that, oh, and I used to think, he said, oh yeah, he said I used to work with this guy that curled and came in to work, and he was always was emotional about whether or not he won or lost. And so one day he came in and he was all pouty or something, and he said, I couldn't help myself. I said, did you lose at curling? And Ben lost, and he said, yeah, I lost. And he said, yeah, but then he went to the Olympics, so so
before or after that loss?
Yeah, it was after.
After that loss, yeah.
Did I tell you this summer I'm learning, they always pipe people on to Scotland the Brave. I'm learning Scotland the Brave on mandolin, and I'm going to offer my services here at the club for $5. Anybody wants me to play them on their team. On just club curling, like any night will come up, $5.
For a league night?
Yeah. I don't have it memorized yet.
I'd have to see how that sounds on the mandolin before I'll see if I could take up a collection by my team before the $5.
For you, I might do it for free.
Ooh.
Yeah, if you wear my Chris's mandolin service.
Well, you gotta get out there and get the business. So we'll let you do it for us once, and so then everyone else will want it.
I have wondered about if you got out there. I bet your instrument would go right out of tune because it'd be cold, big temperature change. Oh, well, there I go. I got my first
taker.
First taker, $5. Thank you. Yeah. Well, now the pressure's on. I don't think Matt's on a team though, so I think I'm okay.
So Leichter rolled a little too far there. I think Craig's got a pretty makeable shot for two here. They got to figure out what it's going to do, what the spot in the ice is going to do here. I think he threw out here earlier in the game, if I remember correctly. And it might run pretty straight. So this is important for Craig. I'm assuming that Team Brown has second count. It looks to me like that yellow is second count. So
yeah,
if Craig can get to nose on that rock, they should be able to get two, and that'll be a win for this end. And see, they'll have to play aggressive for a steal or something. And
yeah, do some feather light draws for an aggressive. Yeah, and kind of hard to call on the angles here. I think we should have monitors down here, you know, below the glass. Maybe pull up. Well, yeah, but you want to be able to glance at it while looking. I'm going to put that in some sort of budget for next year's international, or not international, cash spiel.
Okay.
Yeah, be with the Thunder Bay teams. You won the international a couple years ago, didn't you?
We did.
Yeah, I remember seeing your picture.
Yeah, it was fun.
You guys put in a big pergola with the winnings and a hot tub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't quite cover it, but
Jeez.
they keep up in the purse in that
That's
since we won. Would have been. Yeah, if anyone out there is looking for a fun, you know, semi-competitive men's Spiel to play in, a little bit, some money on the line, and all the good beer you can drink.
Yeah.
Come to the St. Paul International.
I think wasn't it $5,000 top purse last year?
Was it?
I don't know what I mean. This purse is like much higher, but it splits down.
It keeps going up. So.
Yeah. What when you decide that, is it like, do you set it as a goal? Like when you're done with this, you guys will probably have some debrief meetings and some goal setting for next year, and then you'll say, oh, let's go up to 13.5, really go out and hit the pavement.
Yeah, we haven't had much luck with that, but you know, it's not easy. I mean, sponsorship money. I mean, you know, companies they have a lot of different potential places to spend those sponsorship dollars, and you know, I think you got to make a pretty compelling case to get, you know, any real game-changing money. Like, you know, like we've, you know, I guess that's kind of a goal, where if we could get, you know, a title sponsor, you know, that's kind of like.
I think the.
Now that Tim Hortons in the Twin Cities area, I think we should try to get on them to.
It is interesting that that's the second person that has talked to me about hitting up Tim Hortons for sponsorship. One was for just generally for the club, because we're trying to improve the AV quality, which I think is kind of a tough proposition, because it doesn't really improve the quality of the curling. It may be the quality, like, you know, older clubs, you don't have as good of TVs and stuff, or maybe the watching isn't as good as newer clubs. But spending a lot of money on AV that you know, you get 100 people watching is tough. But But if every single time you looked at the TV, you saw a big Tim Hortons donut and a cup of coffee, I'd pay for it. So they're probably just trying to get it back to the house and.
Yeah, back to the game there. Team Leichter starts out getting a bit deep. So yeah, right off the bat, it's kind of a good opportunity for Team Brown to set up a steal opportunity. Leichter is quickly going to be switching to takeout mode after the lead rocks here to clean that up and make sure they have a chance to score here, because you know, for Leichter, just, you know, scoring, you know, they got to score here. They don't, you know, score one here, they're up two coming home. Giving up a steal one for them, you know, again, it's not going to be the end of the world, but you know,
it's not ideal.
Still have Hammer coming home. They certainly don't want to give up a steal or two, so you can kind of play it safe, you know, with that in mind, if it comes to that. But you know, ideally they're gonna start blasting those guards and do their best to, you know, make sure they have a chance to score. And you know, if they get a break or a miss out of Team Brown, Leichter might end up having a good chance to get a score or two. So
some emergency sweeping there, seeing the extra effort.
Ooh,
wow!
Just snuck it by.
Yeah,
just enough sweeping. Nice shot, kept it above the tee line. A little bit deeper than they would have wanted, but had to get it by that guard.
I think that's a really nice nice spot for that, though.
Yeah, I think Either way, though, even with that shot there, you're going to see Leichter start to peel the guards. You know, because like I said, they don't want to take any chances.
Yeah, there's no need.
If they leave those guards up there, there's going to be some opportunity for Brown to get a shot rock in there.
So that's going to be a little bit on the outside.
Yeah, definitely a wider line than Team Leichter had, but that's kind of what they needed. That's a good shot.
Yeah, it's hard for me to see the angle from here, but I'm sure you can get to that if you needed to.
Yeah, Leichter could hit it, but it's risky. You hit it wide at all, or you jam it on your own. So yeah, you gotta. Pretty sure they'll end up peeling the guard here. Just a straight peel on the high one. Doesn't look like there's a good double peel opportunity at all. So
I find it entertaining how the different teams, when they have team meetings, they have kind of a body language, how they do it. And I've noticed like juniors have, like when you watch juniors, they're always like after every shot they kind of huddle, or a lot of times. Not at this level, not that these guys grew up at juniors, but they're always like together, talking as a team. But they all kind of came together in a formation, kind of like a flying V, but flatter, like pancake.
Flying pancake?
Flying pancake, yeah. Flying burrito brother. Wow, he gets it way down. Just have those custom Nike shoes. Those are nice. You used to make shoes, right?
I did. I dabbled in that.
Did you ever make kids' shoes?
I feel like that's a trick question.
It's not. It's not. No, the reason I asked you is because Ruby started Bantams this year, and I'm kind of excited about it. And for school, she got new shoes, but she got these cool shoes that were like super flat, and I was like, oh, those look like really good curling shoes. And she agreed.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to.
Slap a slider on there. Put it on.
I did duct tape.
Oh yeah, that works too.
Yeah.
It's a good way to start.
Yeah, but I noticed at that next level, like so she's been in Little Rocks, that next level they're starting to use real sliders, and so I don't want her to think, her dad's a cheapskate. So I want to get like blinged out shoes. I'm not really blinged out.
Hog guard.
Someone's buying beer. Getting thirsty.
I don't know, is that just a straight hog or did that pick?
Let's say it picked.
Yeah. Give him Dexy says he just hogged it.
Well, he would know.
That's going to make the steal a lot tougher.
All right, so now we're doing the peeling strategy.
Oh, that wasn't good.
Yeah, ran it right back onto his own.
Yeah, that was a very unfortunate result for Leichter. Kept the guard there, picked his own out, leaves Team Brown buried.
Yeah, it was a good result for Brown, though.
It was, yeah. That was about what Craig might have been silently hoping for if they could somehow get really lucky and get a miss out of him.
I really enjoy when I'm talking to people like yourself watching curling, and know when you play against somebody that's curled for a long time, they see the shots and then what all the options are that are going to happen afterwards. I have a really hard time. I'll have a shot in my head, it'll come down, I'll notice that it's not going to work quite right, and I have no idea. My brain isn't fast enough to be like, oh, I got to react this way. It's like, no, missed it.
Once in a while, I get a bit psychic in my shot calls.
Look at this rock.
Better not hog another one.
What in the heck?
I don't know what's going on with those guys.
I guess they want a really high guard.
Oh boy.
Well, you know what?
A lot of curling's about taking advantage of the opportunities the other team gives you, and the last couple shots have just been trading mistakes for for these two guys, for two teams. So Lecter has a chance to clean it up now. Not sure if he's going for a run back at all or just a straight peel. Probably just a straight peel. A run back would be. Run back's a little risky, but you don't want to keep a guard up there.
So now this is the peel of shame, right?
No, that's only for leads.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I'm getting all these. I have to put this in the FAQ. So that's
Well,
only.
I mean, most. I guess I shouldn't say always. You could, but it's definitely it's only if you're peeling your own rock.
Well, in what situation would you do that?
So the way I would define the peel of shame is, say you're up in the game, you have a lead, you just scored, so your lead's thrown first, and you're trying to put one top 4 foot. If that shot comes up as a guard, like a 2 guard, like in the middle of the there, that's no good for your team.
Or I could see it in a situation like you're up and you're supposed to be throwing it to the back of the house or through, and you don't, then you might be like, okay, well, we got to get rid of that.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much what I was saying.
That's what I know, yeah.
Yeah, you're up. So you want it top 4. You don't want anything in the back of the house, and you don't want a guard. So if the lead's light and you just end up with a guard, then the next rock's the peel of shame. It's like, we just got to get rid of that rock because you can't get rid of the opponent's. And actually, what you'll see sometimes there. So if that happens and you come up short, just short of the house, the other team could put a guard on your guard to prevent you from being able to play the peel of shame.
And they call that the guard of righteousness.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you have to do the raise of shame. Oh, got nothing. Ooh, just got by.
Nice.
It's a nice shot. You know, when you're curling in a tournament like this, and there's six sheets, sometimes you get off early, and it's nice. You get some extra time. You get off, particularly if you came off with a win. If you're calling 6 sheets, you stay until the last one. So the long games get long. Not saying that this one is.
And
because this one's been interesting because there's been some misses, and misses make it interesting.
But as mostly a viewer of curling coverage like this, and not on the announcing side, I can say most of the time, myself as a viewer appreciates the continued coverage. Well, some of the coverage out there, like the World Curling Federation has a great setup. They do great coverage of some of their events, but I think they usually don't do that. If their feature game finishes, it's like that's it. See you next draw.
Well, with the extra cameras that we kludged together and installed over there, we can start doing some of those things.
Great shot by Craig there. Tight by the guard, got a little roll under it.
Yeah, he just
now
replaced
again,
his rock.
So after trading some of those misses, even with 2 hog guards for Team Brown, they might, depending on what Alex
it's amazing that they're
here,
still
they
in
might
this
have a good
situation,
chance.
but it has to do with that one where they hit it and it jammed back.
Yeah. Yeah, Alex just has to make sure he doesn't just barely miss this run back, where he keeps the shooter as guarding one side of the 4 foot. Kind of like that, but he got a good roll there.
Yeah. That sheet kind of tilts that way, anyways.
A bit of a roll. It's shots like that where the the ability to throw like the real big weight is more of an advantage. Where even if you're just a little bit off the nose of the rock on those straight run backs, you're still going to roll the shooter a bit, and give yourself more of a chance on the next one.
Yeah, I don't normally throw really big weight. I don't like those kind of wimpy plays.
Non-aggressive. You're more aggressive than that.
I'm more of an aggressive player. It is kind of interesting this year. Last year I curled in the 40 and over for the first time, and everybody there is really aggressive. They draw all the time, which you don't see all the time in club curling. But after curling with that and seeing the success of it, I started calling much more of a draw game. Evan actually, he was on my team last year, and he had us calling a lot more aggressive draw type of game. It was kind of fun,
Yeah.
but it's a little bit more stressful as the skip,
Yeah.
because you're like, well, you actually got to make those draws. But
yeah, generally it is more fun. It's more interesting to have some rocks in play and see what's going on.
Which is probably the whole thing about the 5-guard deal.
Yeah, I definitely like playing that way more for league games where you may not be as concerned.
It's also
whether you win or
flashier,
lose.
it shows off your skill. If you can
Yeah.
draw it in there, people talk about you. Kind of.
It's like drive for show, putt for dough. I mean, anyone can make a open takeout, but can you make a?
Never heard that before.
Can you make a hack weight tap through a tight hole? Oh, that's not going to help Brown's cause much here. Just a little over curl on that guard, and he's going to give Leiter a chance to blank this one.
Yep.
I don't know if these teams are struggling figuring out what the ice is going to do here. Or,
I always think it's
off
kind
on
of
the
interesting
wing.
that this Spiel is so early. Like, the ice was just put in a couple weeks ago. Like, it's all fresh ice, so there's probably not a lot of record on how. I mean, they should have asked me because I curled last Sunday. I could have told them a thing or two.
But you didn't curl on this side of the rocks.
Oh, yeah.
Sunday League started here already?
Yeah.
Wow.
We won.
Of course.
We played, Nikolai Freeman. Nick Freeman. Played him. It was like playing those guys. They usually beat us. Got them on an off game. I wouldn't even say an off game. It just things rolled our way.
So, did Leiter make the peel there?
It's hard to tell. They should sit down in front.
Yes,
so.
he did.
I think so.
Yeah, so a bit of a end of misses there.
Yeah.
Results in no score. And
That's really surprising, too. Yeah. We had a lot of misses on sheet 5 on takeout type things so far.
And now they're set up 1-point game in the 8th end. You know what that means?
Or they just throw it through?
Extra ends. Or good chance for extra ends. Better chance for extra. But
Well, except that.
And keeping the broadcast crew up here longer.
Great. One time I tried to order a whiskey online when I was on Scott Belvich was at Chaska, and he was watching the broadcast, and he called over here and had Craig go up to the bar and get me a whiskey and bring it on. It took like a minute to get a whiskey from someone listening, and that was impressive.
Isn't the internet great?
It is, yeah. If only for that.
I feel like I might have been drinking whiskey watching you while you did that.
I think you were. I think I saw your cats or something. I think we got your cats on the live stream. I think that's also where we got Maureen chastised me about having decks on, I think. We were getting a little loose with the language.
Yeah, it can happen.
I do remember on that broadcast we looked up some word that I didn't know what meant, and it was like some ridiculous word, like it meant some sort of sexual term, and it just blew my mind.
An Urban Dictionary type word?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was like, I don't even know what that means.
You got to watch out for those.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So Brown got the
Team
high
Brown
guard.
did a better job with getting the high guard up there this end.
Yeah.
Liked her playing to the side of the house instead of attempting a tick, which a little surprising to me. Liked her with a 1-point lead. They don't need to score here. They just need to
That's in the
not
back
let
of the
Brown
house,
score.
though. I don't know. I always think. I guess it's 1 point. I guess if you're up by a couple.
That rock there is unlikely to do any good for Team Leichter.
Well, maybe they're going to clog everything up now, and that's going to be the score.
But that's why I just said they don't need to score.
Well, it'd be good for them.
They're already winning. They're not trying to cover the spread. Any rock on the back of the house there is a potential jam opportunity for when they're peeling these Brown teams' guards.
See, now that's a totally different mentality than when I play. When I play, I'm like, well, at least I got one in there, so at least I know they got to get two.
Well, they still just need one closer.
I know. But that adds a lot of pressure. You know, they got to get in that big white area.
That's not close enough.
Yeah.
You gotta increase your expectations.
Have you ever played a game where you needed to just draw into the house to win and you missed?
Oh, that doesn't seem likely. No, I probably have. Nothing comes to mind.
I swept for a game that happened, and it was a missed call from the vice, and it was pretty interesting watching the fireworks afterwards. I was like, all right, good thing I'm just lead.
Swept the.
It was a missed call on you know, I can't remember. It was like, yeah, and it froze right in front. It just needed to touch the red.
Yeah, that's I didn't see the shot, but I'm going to blame that one on the sweepers.
Yeah, well, I was one of those sweepers.
You got it. Well, then it was your fault.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Sorry.
All right, well, now what happened here? We got
they
got the second one.
Yeah, they made a tick on that one. So after drawing to the side there, they made kind of a nice tick on the tighter center guard, which is the more dangerous one.
See, I don't even see the guard.
Yeah, you don't have the best view. It's behind the trash can where they ticked it to. So Brown's going to continue with more guards here, being patient to try to bury one in the 4-foot.
Wow, they're working hard on that one. So do you know what happened? What's going on with what's that team from Duluth? Schuster, what are they doing? Why aren't they here?
I think they just have a weekend off. I think they had a real busy.
I saw one of their team members who's down here working.
Yep, Tyler's here.
Just
kind of having a more laid-back weekend, playing with some friends, and also.
I think that'd be some sort of contract violation. What happens if he finds out he likes that team better?
I think he's going to stick with the team that has a chance to get him to the Olympics.
Yeah, that might be a good choice.
Yep. But yeah, those guys have busy schedule, and I think they'll be in the next Slam event. I forget when that is, but I know their September was really busy. We just played against John up in Edmonton a couple weekends ago. Marine and I at a doubles event. It was like John's one free weekend. He
decided to
work in
curl
a doubles Spiel because he doesn't have. That's like the only doubles event he'll play in, with his doubles partner Corey Christensen. So I think this is just a weekend off for him.
They seem to be really into that isogenic stuff. I don't know, it's a nutrition thing.
John and Sarah really got into that, yeah.
I wonder if they got into that because he had success with it. Because I remember he,
I don't know for sure.
For a while he was like, people want to know why I've trimmed down so much. I never knew what the product was, but then all of a sudden it kind of shifted into this is the deal that we got.
I feel like Sarah got into it first, but I don't know. But yeah, they really they're big fans of it.
I don't even know what it is. Do you know what it is?
I think it's a nutritional supplement type stuff.
Like it's like a beverage, like a.
Yeah, there's probably
like a shake.
Yeah, like shakes or powders, probably
like a protein thing that keeps you full and gives you that protein energy.
Okay. Oh, I missed what happened there. We must have had a missed peel by
Yeah, I'm
Team
sorry.
Lecter.
I was talking Isogenics.
Yeah.
I was just throwing out names that could possibly, sponsor the Spiel. I've mentioned Tim Hortons. We talked about that. Isogenics could certainly be a board up there. Give them a little booth down here. Might be a conflict of interest, though.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk to Schuster next year.
Let's talk to him right now.
His off weekend can be selling Isogenics here.
Yeah.
So not the worst outcome for Brown. They're shorter than what they wanted. They were taking that chance to try to bury a good one in the full 4 foot behind those guards.
So when will he decide to come in, do you think?
Well, they were trying to there.
Oh.
Yep, they were trying to there, but came up a little short. And now you could just see Alex was out there looking at the angles and wondering how I get rid of this rock. And he'd like to get rid of both of them, but he had to take a look and say, "Oh, I got to make sure I don't hit this into my own rocks back there." So that's when you say, "Well, maybe I shouldn't have put those rocks there."
Yeah. Well, I still think that was a good choice. No. Oh.
Yeah, team.
Well, apparently we've got some chat activity that said Rebecca said that on the chat says Isogenics is a line of shakes, meal replacements. Its selling model is the same as Avon. It does not sell like hotcakes, though, because hotcakes aren't good for you.
Says who?
Aunt Jemima? No,
she wouldn't say
sells
that.
Syrup, so she probably wants you to. Well, that was pretty, although it still puts something
didn't
there.
really accomplish much for him.
But it's a good thing that they have those 2 in the house because they're up 2, right?
Sure, Chris, sure.
I mean, it's probably Brown is probably nervous. He's like, "Oh gosh."
Like I said before, those rocks are only there if Lecter's trying to cover the spread.
Doesn't this end just come down to the last rock? Isn't that? I mean, that's like just if the last rock is.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just skip ahead to it. No, you got to play the game. It's got to be fun, though, to try to figure out how am I going to get this, Now we have handshakes there. Or the game's over on 2. Probably not handshakes. Can't tell.
Both.
Both.
I think the game's over and there's handshakes. Oh, update you. Oh, they are shooting. Oh, looks like Team Brown's trying to come through the hole. They must not be sure on the line for the in-turn to play that come around, so play an out-turn and try to just kind of squeak through the hole, those 2 guards. There's a big stagger, so they're looking
I must be missing something because I don't see how that's going to. Oh, yeah. Oh,
almost, but no. But they got another guard, and they're just waiting. They still just got to do their best to set up that steal of 1. Yeah, Lecter might be able to get the double peel here.
Do you notice? I noticed that a lot of these curlers, when they come back and they're sliding back, they'll slide up on their slider. Do you think that is actually efficient, or is it just showboating?
To just slide standing up down.
Yeah,
the
just
ice?
with one, and then kind of like teeter like this, like. But look at me, I'm freestyling.
I do that all the time.
So you know the answer.
I think it's efficient.
It is efficient, actually. Yeah.
Good balance exercise too.
Yep. It feels fun too. I like growing my hair out, and then when you do that, it kind of.
I've never experienced that.
Yeah. Well, you should grow your hair out before you can't. Oh, that was nice.
Yeah, nice double peel by Martin Sather there. So that high guard, yeah, they're not running pretty straight down this line. Craig's only playing this to curl about 3 feet.
Uh-oh. Looks like we have more money for mandolin music coming my way. Maybe not.
A tie game on sheet 6 for Fenson and Potts or Koivula.
Oh, extra end.
Yep, extra end.
Nice. Oh. It's good because this one's about to wrap up, and it's nice to change our attention over straight. Maybe. That's pretty nice.
Nice looking draw for
Yeah.
Craig here.
It's got to get in there, though.
Doesn't want it to peek out the other side too much, but
Yeah, it's better than those two that were threatening the whole game. You know, it must be peeking out because he's... Although it doesn't seem like, just looking, there's a lot of rocks over there, so it seems like... I can't tell anything.
yeah, there's just one high guard. And it looks like that one kind of over curled it, so it should be open.
Well, there's the rock behind the trash can. I don't know how far that is.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it might not be much of a factor.
Now, I don't know where the rock is because there's some dude putting his bag away. Oh, and he left it there so I can't see. Nice. Yeah, put your bag down. All right, the shot's delivered. Looks like it has enough power. No, now they're sitting 3.
Craig's going to play the same draw.
Yep. Yeah, he practiced it.
Yeah.
Well, then this way, maybe he can come on the inside of that.
Okay, and this will be Craig's last shot at the 8th end here. Needs to get shot rock here. Leichter won't have to throw.
Looks a little heavy to me.
The line looks pretty good. He should be close.
Oh, it's pretty nice.
Ooh, just hangs on for shot in the back. So yeah, pretty good shot by Craig. He's going to make Alex decide if he wants to try to outdraw it or play a similar takeout to what he just threw.
Yeah, I can't tell anything over there. Like, I don't, from what the angle I'm seeing, kind of oblique like this.
Well, the shot he's playing, the guard that you can't see, is definitely closer to being in play, but it must not be a factor because, you know, they're...
So is he trying to run back the red then?
Yeah, he's going to play the short run back on his own. And, you know, so it's a similar shot to what he just threw, so he's comfortable playing this again. I don't think it's not quite the same line, but should react close to the same. Must be close out of hand, it seems. Waiting for it to curl a little bit.
There we go.
And no doubt about it.
Whew. See, 4. Well, that was great.
Yeah,
so we
game liked her.
One last game on sheet 6 now. One extra end.
Yep, extra ends on sheet 6 between Pete Fenson and Colin Koivula from Thunder Bay.
It's hard to say who I'd want to win because Bemidji and Thunder Bay are both. Actually, I like Thunder Bay and I like Bemidji. I'd like to visit Pete's pizza place. I hear it's good.
Yeah, I don't know if I've eaten there before. I feel like I probably have, but it's been a while.
I had pizza right here last night, and he was up talking pizza.
Yeah.
Wasn't exactly holding pizza court.
He knows a thing or two, though. Huh?
Yeah, we talked about cheese, and he said that they have experimented with expensive cheese, and in the end, salty mozzarella is the best flavor, and that's not usually the most expensive cheese. And then he said that cheese from Wisconsin is definitely better than cheese from almost anywhere else on the planet, except for Swiss cheese. A little Emmentaler.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that. Wisconsin cheese. All right, Jordan Potts going for the double peel. Very nice.
So this is kind of similar to the last end that we watched over there, in the sense there's a 1 point lead. Although the 1 point lead, and the team has to steal one.
Yeah. Kind of
looks a little cleaner though.
Yeah. Mistakes by Koivula's lead, getting those rocks behind the tee line. So we'll see if that comes back to haunt him or not. Koivula's going to keep peeling guards. Make sure he has a shot on his last one.
Kind of kicked his leg up the end. Pete Westberg was saying, we were calling Fenson, that he made the observation that when Pete Fenson throws it too heavy, the way he expresses his frustration is he kicks his leg up.
Yeah,
so
I've seen him do that. So yeah, Pete said it's when he feels he's heavy, huh?
But then, as we started watching, it kind of seemed like he did it all the time. So, but he did lose that game, so maybe he was just generally frustrated.
Maybe he has a little more emphasis on the kick when he is heavy. Sean Rudreski just with the guard here. Sean actually wasn't here for their first game, and it sounds like he came straight to the club from the airport, flying back from Hawaii. So got here just in time for game 2.
That's who that is right there?
Yeah, in the
black. Because I actually, I looked at him and I thought he was that Isaacson. I was like, oh, he's still playing.
Yeah, they do look a little similar from a distance. But yeah, Jeff Isaacson filled in the first game. And probably 1 or 2 more guard peel sequences, and eventually, I think red has to be count rock there. I think red's in the back of the button, and that yellow one's just full top 4. So, so eventually, Team Fenson's going to, I think ideally what they'd like to do. This is the chess match approach. Fenson guards, they peel. But if Fenson's not shot, of course, he's eventually has to tap that and get shot rock. So
maybe they'll do it.
After one, that was Sean's second. So this next shot will be Pete Fenson's first shot. So Koivula might not peel it. Fenson guards here.
Leave it.
Yeah, that's what Fenson has to think about. If I guard, and then he guards, I might not really have a shot. But doing that, would be a risk for Koivula, because if you don't make the guard right, then Fenton is going to have a chance to make that tap, and you'll be in trouble. So they got to be a little bit more specific on the placement here and think a little bit more about what they're going to do.
I noticed that they're not employing the strategy of having the side two that we talked about.
No. And the side, as this turns out, the rocks on the side would be better for Koivula, because these rocks right in the middle behind the tee line are hurting them a lot more. So.
See, look at how precise he's placing his broom.
It's a game of inches.
Yeah. There's no way he's going to be in the exact same spot. Look at it, he's not even.
Oh, I don't know.
He didn't do that exchange that you got to do. Maybe they mark the ice a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't need to do that.
Sometimes.
Down in front. Oh, he was precise. Whew. It's a pro.
Oh, he's giving him a little more. Maybe Pete asked for some more from the hack. Yeah.
Oh, big leg kick.
It looked like a happy leg kick to me, though.
Yeah.
I think he likes the weight.
That's moving, right?
It's going to over curl a little bit, I think, for what he wanted.
Yeah. You notice on the ice, like, look at sheet 4. This could just be light, but sheet 4 and sheet 6, it doesn't have the white frost as much. And well, that's because sheet 5 ended earlier than those two.
Yeah.
So this one's frosting over.
Yeah, frost might be creeping in on sheet 5 a little bit.
So now they'll just try to blast those out.
Yeah.
And these boys from Thunder Bay, they know how to plant trees and they know how to cut them down too. So expect a big lumberjack throw here.
It's a good analogy.
Well, it's an analogy. Might need an analgesic after that.
Ooh. You might have pinched that in a little.
Yeah.
That's. Oh, we did. It's good. It's not quite what he wanted, though. Chance for Fenton to freeze one right on the pot. But it's a pretty hard shot to make perfect, and he's just going to, no matter what, he's going to leave Koivula another hit to lose him, and he's got, plenty of savers to get his point, so.
It's showing for scoring. It's all messed up. It has a bunch of ends way out there. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. I muted you. We're having some. All right, so Pete delivered that rock. There was a little technical thing that was going on when this all happened. I'll unmute now.
Working on the curling zone scoring there. So.
Yeah. Well, it looks like he threw a really
Pete's
nice rock.
Short.
Yeah.
And that'll be game Koivula. Well, good
yeah,
game.
But he's short, but it was really well thrown.
Good line.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Pete. Thanks for coming
Thank you, Chris.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for doing this, and we'll talk to you again later.
Good time. Cheers.